Yeah, pretty much.
Like, that's not the kind of jungler you want.
With so many good early game junglers like Graves, like Elise that we saw last game as well, which these players have been playing. Dr. Mundo would be the first ban, followed by Kindred, and Malphite is going to be the different one coming in from HUMA.
I was going to say, speaking of early game junglers, Kindred not available in this game. Game 2 was banned in game 1 as well, so IHG is sticking to that as one of their bans. Of course, sides have swapped now. HUMA on the blue side.
The Malphite ban is interesting because we didn't see it last game and they didn't ban it in the first game either. It's a great engage tool and it's a pretty solid champion right now, but because Trundle exists, which is the ban that we had last game in from Illuminar, he's less good in those prolonged fights, but the engage is still great. So if you get it on top like a Misfortune, for example, really strong pickup.
I quite like the Corki ban, actually, because you know it's a pick that HUMA can play now, and it's a flex. So there's a lot of strength just in general to try and shut down some of the siege potential. I think it's a good setup to ban that one out. Wonder where the rest of it's going to go. What does that leave open now? Trundle is up. That was one of the picks we were talking about. Misfortune is up as well. As for first picks, Misfortune is an option. And gets locked in.
Nailed it. So first pickup will be that Misfortune. What is still open? Fiora was open in the last game, and neither team decides to pick it up.
Yeah.
People are talking about the Lissandra-Fiora matchup now, and people are saying that Fiora actually not too bad into the Lissandra matchup now with itemization choices.
Not too bad. Still a skill matchup, I would say.
It's become more of a skill matchup than
become
before, which used to be like everyone's opinion was Lissandra wins. So.
I still think it's a tricky matchup even before the changes, but I can understand with the first rotation Lissandra in the last draft why you wouldn't then want to go, well, we put the Graves, we could just put the Fiora there. I like the setup they had. I'm not expecting to see Fiora in this game either. Looking at picks that weren't available in yesterday or have had a lot of ban presence. So Rise still up, Tom Kench is still available, Alistair's still available. A lot of options. Graves could possibly get on for Kuban again.
Tam is a big one that we didn't see. Graves, Lucian.
Okay.
So Graves, Flex, Lucian most likely going to be in that bot lane onto Creatine.
Yeah.
And waiting for the next two pickups here. What's still available? Jungle, Elise is still up, Rek'Sai is still up. You could go Nidalee if you wanted to, but Elise is so good right now with Rek'Sai.
I'm really not a fan of Nidalee because she is such a good early game jungler. But if you get behind, goodbye. That's the game done. Like, it's such a 50-50 choice when you have options that are very much more consistent, like a Rek'Sai offers more, Graves in the jungle offers more. So I don't think Nidalee's a bad pick. I just think that she's more of a coin flip.
Yeah, also outclassed.
Yeah.
But Morgana will be the next pickup coming in for Je suis Cass. So that last game, it was pretty good, honestly. Holy Phoenix with the Callisto as well last game. Just picked him up, threw him in, Soul Shackles comes out, and they get the engage. Rise could be a possibility here as they do hover it. And we've already mentioned a whole bunch of different picks, so they have a lot to choose from.
I thought you were going to be like, so you can go back in time and figure what we predicted. We said like 20 champions.
It's like the IKEA of champions slates where we give you the tools and the champions, and now you put it together.
Yeah, we give you 30. And you can just be like, this. No, that's not how this works. If we didn't predict it, we don't get to claim it. No. Unlike... was sat with Deficio during LCS and he was like, I predicted this whole picks and bans phase on the 4th time round.
Yeah.
Changed
he
his
was
mind.
Like, it's going to be this champion
times.
and the control mage. Oh no, it's going to be a carry here. And we were like, it's just been locked in.
Yeah, you can't change your mind like that. But 2 lock-ins have come out. Rise, Trundle. We were kind of talking about the Trundle was banned. So now we get to see... in fact, it was IHG banning the Trundle. So in the last game, they banned it away almost from themselves? Not necessarily, because, I mean, they were kind of, I guess, expecting a first rotation Trundle and didn't want it given away. And now that it falls to pick 4...
But at the same time, there's no priority by HUMA to pick up the Trundle, like they just picked up the Morgana anyway.
Huh.
And now they've locked in Thresh.
And they've locked in Thresh.
Curveball!
So,
okay. Mid lane?
That's mid Morgana with Thresh support. Then
Lissandra's also a flex, so...
Right, but I'd rather Lissandra in the long lane and Morg in the shorter lane.
Yes.
I wouldn't particularly want Morg in the long lane. So yeah, this is Morgana mid then. So good wave clip, catch potential. Thunderlords is going to work just as well. Even better, to be honest, on this, because you now have the AP on top of it.
What I don't question is the validity of the pick, because I think it's fine.
No, I'm just trying to...
It's just the fact that Godbro is playing it, and he's usually about the carries, the flashy plays,
Yeah.
and all that really goes into, well, not all that goes into Morgana, but it's like one, aiming the dark bindings, the timing on E, and then jumping in and clicking R, versus the crazy plays he's made as Azir, the crazy plays he's made as Diana, and even last game as well on Corki.
I have one worry with this Morgana lock-in, and that's the Rise on the other side. I feel like Morgana... I'm trying to pick my words very carefully here. I feel like Morgana isn't going to bully Rise out enough to deny him the complete package of farm. I'm not saying that she can't stop him farming at all, but I feel like your presence is so reliant on Dark Binding into the Tormented Soil that I think Rise can just kind of sit behind his minion wave as it disappears, absorb the wave that comes towards him, and the actual threat isn't there in the laning phase like we just saw from a Corki from Godbro. So I'm interested to see that lane matchup now go, and I think that's why they then put Tahm Kench up to the top side.
For sure, she doesn't have the same tools as other champions to shut down the Rise, and that could be a problem as we get through this game, because the only really the problem that Rise suffers is the early game. Once he starts scaling, he just picks up like a blasting wand or something and just murders you. It's kind of disgusting. He just hits that point in the game and he just starts winning.
You just reminded me of a game yesterday when I'm looking at like blasting on Catalyst and a Rise
like,
just all-ins me
down.
at like level 9 after I've killed him 4 times, and I'm like, what is this Rise? Anyway, as we were alluding to, or talking about a fair amount, that is Morgana mid with this kind of team composition. A fair amount of potential to set up sieges and pushes on towers as well. A lot of wave clear coming from HUMA. On the other side, scaling with the Rise, you've now got good protection from the Tahm Kench, and you can use that Trundle to disrupt people as well.
Some very interesting picks in this draft, so make sure you join the discussion and talk about those picks on Twitter using those hashtags as well, depending on which team you think will take this one home. Hashtag HMA win for HUMA or IHG win for Illuminar Honor Gaming. We're about to get into game 2 of this best of 5 as HUMA will be heading onto the Rift, as will Illuminar Gaming on the red side, swapping up in this game. And excited to see what happens in the early game as well, because they had a lane swap in the last game. Both teams came out fairly even, but from there, Illuminar pretty much didn't really do anything. This time, they again have another scaler. This time, it's going to be a Rise, but they also have the ability to kind of scale and do something like in the mid game. Or they had that last game as well and actually just didn't do anything, but hopefully they do something in this game.
Yeah, and I think that Rise still kind of suffers from somewhat of the same wave clear problem as Kassadin, is that they both have wave clear in their kit, but they have to expend a fair amount to do so. You have to use the the ultimate plus the E coming from Rise to really effectively clear a wave. The wave dies very quickly, but your ult's gone for that as the game opens up. So there are options available. I think this is a little bit more reliable wave clear than a Kassadin would really have, but against like the likes of Alessandra, Morgana, Misfortune, all 3 of those champions are going to push pretty quickly onto you.
So we do have a Graves jungle in this game, this time around on Tabasco. He's picking up the Hunter's Talisman, and people kind of flip-flop back and forth on the Hunter's Talisman and the Machete. This time he's going to be going for that one. Indicates to me that he may look for a gank after his initial jungle clear, because he's starting on top side, meaning he'll go into that blue buff. So actually may have not entirely been necessary. He may have just been able to go for the Machete first. Problem
for me in that situation is, who are you looking to gank? Lissandra has an escape, Misfortune has Thresh, and Morgana's in a short lane. So your actual ability to get on top of somebody is going to rely on Godbro mispositioning. Because Godbro is going to shove the wave very fast. You can already see he's pretty much killed all of the minions while 3 of his still remain alive. That's going to happen time and time again. But as long as Godbro has his side bushes warded, at least on one side, and then plays to that side, Dark Binding, it's very effective.
Nice pillar there from the level 2 punish in from Creatine and Mystic. I guess a lot of damage onto Je Suis Cass, but because the Relic Shield is there, and it's early on, hitting at level 2, getting a lot of their health back, not too bad. Mid lane, maybe a bit of farming for now. 2 snares come out, so the auto attacks will still come in from the 2 players. And that's pretty much what Morgana does in the mid lane. Carries on shoving you into the tower. The Ignite comes down very early from Thresh there. And I don't think he's going to use the flash as well. Going to put some more damage onto Mystic as he heads back. Nice flay. Get a couple more autos from Holy Phoenix as they retreat. And the lane is equalized up. Now the health pots have to be popped by Illuminar.
That's a little bit unfortunate for that trade in the bottom side. I was kind of keeping a track. Cass actually, because of the dash from Cretin, used the empowered auto attack on a minion, so didn't have that extra trading potential there. It was a little unfortunate, but that is the problem with when the AD carry dashes away from you.
Yes. And Tabasco was looking for a gank in the top lane. Now Whirlup's going into the bush, and as he comes back, kind of unfortunate timing because the minion wave wasn't there, so he couldn't see Whirlup putting him in a prime position to be ganked, just as Tabasco happened to be going back. Santrin, meanwhile, takes the bottom buff out there from Graves. And did Graves pick up the blue buff from Santrin? I don't believe...
No, he's only wearing red right now. So Santrin now going for a gank as well. Bottom lane, good hook.
He's got the double buffs. He gets the knockup, but he's taking a lot of damage. He needs to not get in range of that tower. One more tower shot would finish off Santrin, and the pillar will disengage the fight for Illuminar. Tabasco now heads down to react. Has the Raptor buff, so he can see if there's a route that he can go in here. May even look towards the dragon, if not jump over the wall and try and get something from the jungle. He knows Santrin is chunked and can't do anything about it.
Yeah, at this point, Tabasco is going to be able to, as you said, put some vision down, now take away the Raptors. So the problem with that bottom lane attempted gank there from Santorin is the kill pressure from Cass not having Ignite was already fairly reduced. Holy Phoenix as well was trying to kind of move forward to put damage down, wasn't 100% on the same page, and then Cretin and Mystic were able to get out. They do get the flash from Trundle, so if they can capitalize on that, that will be something that they're looking for. But on the other side, Tabasco, when you look top side, again, difficult to get on top of a Lissandra. The one thing it has done, though, is give Kuban the ability to extend his farm. 30 CS to 21 right now.
Yeah, 4 more minions coming in here, so as long as Whirlup last hits all of these, it will even up a little bit, but still, it's a whole wave advantage to Kuban, which is nice to have in that lane matchup.
Pillar.
Good pillar, and Holy Thing's taking a lot of damage. He was trying to trade back onto Cretin. Both of them still had both their summoners, neither of them will use any of them. The Lantern gets him back to safety. Just Weakcast throwing that one out. Tabasco looking for Santorin in the top side of the jungle, heading into this bush, does not have the Raptor buff, but takes away the tunnel. So they know he's there because they saw the tunnel explode. And now he will head into his jungle. So nice bit of information there for HUMA to start off this game.
Yeah, good information. As you said, they know the tunnel is gone. Instantly pinging that one out. So even without a ward knowing where Tabasco was, this gives the freedom on the bottom side for Holy Phoenix and Cass to set themselves up maybe for another trade. Santorin's been spotted this time though. Drops the ward over the wall, tunnels under the wall, and comes right into vision of that ward. So both junglers are top lane, and Tabasco has been spotted once again. So both teams playing with complete information. I'm interested to see where the next step is here for this, especially bottom lane for supports. You can see Cass is roaming up. Was looking for Rift Scuttler. Did he actually put a ward down? Is something I'm interested in.
What we know is Tabasco has gone back, picked up the Tracker's Knife, so has Santorin. He's used both of his wards while Tabasco looking to put some more down, maybe track Santorin through the jungle. But this is the same matchup we had yesterday, where we had Graves into Rek'Sai, where it's hard for Graves to get up into the enemy jungle and try and duel the enemy jungler, because Tremor Sense is the thing. Yep. It's difficult to even gank because Rek'Sai will continue to track you, so he loses that strength. So Tabasco finding it hard to make an impact in the early game, but it does allow him to just go through the jungle and carry on farming.
It does. It should be a fairly safe spot for him right now. Even gets an aggressive ward out. Santorin is in the bottom side of the map, though, right down in bottom lane. You can see him hiding in the bush down there, looking for an engage. They have a ward just to spot out if Mystic comes too close. As the Holy Phoenix is trying not to give the game away with Cass. Does have flash available on both Santorin and Cass, so if Trundle steps out like this, could look to flay. Now the game is given, as Santorin is there. Ooh, flays him away.
That was an example of not a good combo in Fresh. Yeah, flays him away, then doesn't connect to Death Sentence after the flash. To be fair, it's a very difficult thing to pull off, but if you're setting up a play based around being able to land the flash play so that Santorin can get in range, you have to make sure it hits.
Take a look at mid lane, though. One thing we talked about was how this Morgana into the Rise was going to go. Hold that thought, bottom lane again.
Once again, the pillars are really good from Mystic, but maybe baited a little too far. This time, the Flay lands. Godbro is there for the lockdown. Mystic will be going down here. and he's just going to walk into the tower. I think they may just give this one to Holy Phoenix. It's my lane, get away from here. You can have an assist, but this one's to me. And first blood over to Holy Phoenix.
5-man bot lane party results in Tabasco taking the blue buff away, though, on the top side of the map. So Tahm Kench uses teleport, but cancelled it. Nobody else really joined the fight. Nick is running cleanse, so he wasn't able to teleport down. You can see the extra damage that AP Morgana is going to have in this situation. Keep in mind that is only with the first rank, I believe it is. Actually has Frostfang right now, so the second rank of the Spell Thief's route of itemization. Of course, we're on 524. Spooky Ghosts. Very, very effective.
Yeah, full 4 seconds of 40% slow, very
full
strong.
Spookiness.
Yeah. Linear amount of spookiness, as we established yesterday, because on 6-1 they get progressively more spooky as they travel. Oh, Nick looking for a gank in the mid lane. Flash away by Godbro, and that's the end of that gank. In the bot lane, though, we could have a trade coming up as Suicast lands the Flay. Santrin looking for another knock up here, and additionally, with the Glacial 2, maybe enough damage, and Mystic will once again have to jump away, but he flashes out of the fight. He didn't use that one in the last engagement. Preyseeker lands with the pillar. He actually gets out alive.
Great escape by Mystic. He's able to just get through his jungle, timed the flash very well, and avoids any kind of chance of dying there. That's, you know, nice little play from Mystic to get himself away. I thought he was a gunner.
Yeah, with the Frozen Tomb there, I thought he was pretty dead, but apparently not.
Willib used the claw to try and deny his ability to flash up the lane, and that's why Mystic ran through the river, because the gap closes just weren't there to hold him in place.
But I think HUMA thought he was dead, otherwise they would have positioned so that you cut off both exit points, so very well played by Mystic, only at the cost of a flash. And we've had a lot of action in terms of these ganks, but they're all either mitigated because of summoner spells or abilities haven't landed. In the mid lane, very difficult to gank a Morgana anyway because of the Black Shield. CC will not be landing on the first rotation, so gives Morgana a little more time to get back to a tower. And it's the short lane, so it only takes a little bit of time to get back there. Holy Phoenix has gone into the top lane with Suicast, and Mystic will be joining Kubon for this 2-on-2. Tabasco going into the top lane, looking for a potential engage, but it's going to be all on that pillar really, because Kubon needs stacks to start CCing up his opponents.
Mystic's pillars have been fairly on point though so far, so I think if there's something to rely on, that seems to be a good engage tool for IHG, but the sheer numbers right now on the top side for HUMA. No teleport available for Willib. Kubon's is up because of him cancelling it earlier. Godbros is still on the same timer as Willib, so if IHG can put the numbers in their favor, they may be alright. Tabasco is just out of vision, but I think as Santorin passed the bush, I think the vision kind of just expanded because they were pinging on Tabasco. They were definitely pinging on him to say he was there. Hook lands onto Mystic.
Bullet time as well, and the Flay, and the box, and is it going to be enough damage though? Last auto in from Holy Phoenix, that's going to be a yes, and the box times out. So Tabasco cannot follow through there with Santorin as well, just to go for the 2-on-3 if they went for the engage there. So nice pickup by HUMA. Again, gradually getting ahead in this early game. Not as drastically as last game, though. Godbro roaming up from the mid lane has been spotted out by the ward. Will rejoin his team as Nick tries to come in for the pincer movement, but now he's separated from the team, and a dive may happen very quickly from HUMA. Creatin's already very low. Looking for the Q in there by Tabasco. Kubon eats up his ally, and Santorin is going to try and pick up the kill. Spits out Creatin back to safety, and Tabasco, while he drops low, he's still alive and kicking.
I like the attempted hook, though, from Cass. Throws it out, trying to catch on to Tabasco or Cretin as he came out of Tahm Kench, but was half a second too early. That would have been one of those flashy plays if Harry had seen him. Willib is now up in this top side, is going to go in, gets rooted.
Yeah, so he can't activate the Glacial Path, and good ultimate in there from Tabasco. He couldn't really interact with the fight, but apart from his ultimate, Mystic again gets CC'd down by the dog binding, and there's enclosed corridors. Very difficult to dodge the bindings. And top tower goes down, so HUMA got what they came for.
Difficult in general to deny HUMA's ability to catch. I mean, now with two synonymous catch champions of a Morgana and a Thresh, as soon as one target is out in the open and vulnerable from crowd control, Willib follows up, uses the ultimate from Lissandra just to take them off the map. And then you've still got teamfight potential from Holy Phoenix, so there's a very real possibility that HUMA can always find the engages they want, provided that Dark Binding or the hook lands.
We still have to pay attention to the potential counters and tools from IHG, because Nick is still in the game. And he actually didn't go casting, he went for the blasting one first because there's no real gank or kill pressure on him in the mid lane.
And the other side of that is IHG have Tahm Kench, who is the king of protecting single targets. So if Tahm Kench is even remotely strong enough to get towards the person that's caught and just devour them, walk away, there's still the chance that that won't work for HUMA. So it is going to depend on whether Kuban is around. Yeah. They do have the ability to close that gap as well with the ultimate from Tahm Kench, so still options for IHG.
And Swiftness Boots are such a sick pickup on Tahm Kench as well, especially early on to the game, because you basically get that for you and an ally. Kuban is going to be eating up God Bro, give him a lick, tastes just like raisins, and picks up that kill in the mid lane.
Tastes like raisins.
Yeah.
There was another joke in that, Pulse.
What was it, Stress?
Tastes like hummus.
Ah. I'll get it next time. Holy Phoenix, though, he's out. He's going to flash over the wall, and he's out of there. Got the strut and the Dark Passage.
For the record, hummus is awful, and I don't like it.
It is so good, but this is not a good situation for Nick to be in. Alternatively, not too bad. Samson's going to be there, so they'll back off.
No wonder Tahm Kench spat him back out.
Yeah. Repulsive.
It's awful. Anything that primarily you eat with celery is not a good food. I'm just going to say that straight up.
Yeah, but you're allergic to vegetables. Anyway, in the mid lane, HUMA looking for the siege. But there's a lot of people already there, and Nick, he just needs to pop his ultimate. Like you were saying before, yes, he has to use a lot of mana, but in the jungle, though, Tabasco may be caught out. Again, the pillar. The disengage tools from Illuminar are pretty good this game. And the reset on the red buff. Oh,
that's painful.
Yeah.
They even ward it just to be like, yeah, it went all the way to full. Okay.
Okay, then. Mid lane, trying to get the siege to happen. Nick did use his ultimate, though, so he doesn't have the AoE anymore, and is just one spell away from his passive.
I feel like I've seen this setup before in the last game, where HUMA are going in.
Kuban. He's got Tabasco's back. He's going to be dragged in here, taking a bunch of damage in with the ultimate as well, but he goes straight into the Grey Health. Maybe a little too early as the bullet time rains down, but he still gets away. The entire lineup of Illuminar are fairly low. May have to give up this tower. Whirlib was also chunked in that engagement as he took the tower aggro.
He has the teleport available, and the rest of HUMA are fairly high health, so they can just sit here in front of this tower. If anybody from IHG tries to re-engage, teleport instantly will come out from Whirlib. They'll have the numbers advantage because Tahm Kench backed away without his teleport, so HUMA are in a good spot once again as they've extended their goal lead to around about 3k.
So in a similar position to the first game we saw in this series, IHG, they have a lot of disengage tools which I've already spoken about. Can they do anything proactive or make anything happen from it? Because it's all good being able to disengage and stopping a couple kills happening here and there, but if they kind of roll over and die, then you just lose the game and you lose another game, and they're one game away from being out of this series.
The one thing that is somewhat different to the last game is Nick is up when you look at CS in the mid lane, only by a little bit, but it's different from last game, and Ryze is powering up. He's nearly at that 2-item point where Ryze becomes a formidable force in teamfights, and we've seen him start to output damage. If he can get that reliable damage out in fights, this game could still be okay for IHG, but if Nick gets burst down, if Nick is not available for the fight, I don't see too many options for them. Their Lucian is behind in the bottom lane. Down in CS, behind about half an item. The Zeal is there for Misfortune when there's no second part being built for Lucian. So the actual overall damage coming from that role is going to be stronger for HUMA. Similar story with top lane. They've got a damage-focused top lane. When you look at Lissandra, looking for the burst onto Ryze, it's going to be all on if Kuban can protect him.
And so far, he has been able to. He's been able to protect multiple deaths that would have happened with the Devour. And he's fairly tanky at this stage. He's been farming very well in the top lane. Mystic takes some damage here as the Tormentor comes in. And around 40% of his health is significant from Godbro.
Yep.
You don't expect the damage because you always see support Morgana, and it's just like, oh, I lost a lot of health there.
Well, that's the real one that they won't expect is the damage that comes from the ult. Because that's a whole lot of damage when you've got AP. You're just like, okay, well, is this going to stun me? Oh, it killed me before it stunned. Great, that's exactly what I like. You just get that pop right as it goes, and you never get stunned because you're dead.
Yeah, because you usually let it activate and then jump away as the tether's on, but initially it does almost 300 damage right now, and he's only level 10. He hasn't even got the second rank of ultimate yet, so already a lot of damage in his repertoire. In the Raptor camp, Samson's going to take that and be able to take away this ward, but it was a pink ward, so I don't actually have any range here to take it out. Oh, Tabasco potentially caught out here. The ultimate comes in. Kuban's able to eat him, though, and just take him to safety. Spits him out of range of the bullet time as well. Mid lane being pushed in here. Do have those buffed up minions from the Herald.
Ooh, hook nearly landed. Now IHG want to go.
Response coming in from Creatine. Kuban stopped in his tracks, and Nick was trying to get in range, but that was a great make it rain, stopping 3 members from aggressing. Kuban dropped very low, but the Grey Half will give him some regen. He'll still have to back off to base, however, and this tower should be going down. Glacial Path comes in, but no ultimate from Whirlib. Just all zoning tools right now.
And keep in mind, we're on 524, so this is before Misfortune had 90 damage taken off the top of rank 5 Make It Rain. And rank 5 Make It Rain is exactly what Holy Phoenix was looking for fast in this game. Did max the E as expected, and HUMA using it just to deny the engages and look to siege when they can. In comes Tahm Kench into the back line. Is he bringing anybody with him?
It doesn't look like it right now, and he's already taken so much damage. Goes into the Grey Health, but Godbro immediately bites the dust. Didn't even flash away, got CC'd up there, and Nick was able to unload on him. 2-2 now in the kills. Still behind in this game, though, because IHG still yet to get a single turret.
It's exactly what they needed, though. They need Nick to be the one to carry this game on his shoulders. He has to get farmed and get fed in this matchup. Now he's got the first kill, is 20 CS up. So it's a good spot to be in. Will receive a fairly sizable wave in the mid lane as well. So if Ryze can hold on, this game is still alive. And HUMA have started to slow down. Now with that top tower attempt being pushed back, HUMA now have to look for other options. Do they look for bottom lane? There's no Dragon available, not for another few minutes. Baron will be up in 20 seconds, so that is an option, but I don't think they have the fastest Baron right now. Morg Tormented Soil will do a fair amount. Misfortune, just with damage alone, will do some, but it's not the same as having the likes of like a Callista or anything that has that % damage.
Yeah, it's a decent clear on Baron. It's not the fastest in the world. I want to take a look at Godbro's item build, though, because he died very quickly there, and there's a reason, because he hasn't gone for any extra health, any extra defensive stats. Looks like he made... Well, that is the path going towards Death Cap as well, with the 3 items he has as components, and not going for the Zhonya's is also very interesting. Hasn't used the flash just yet, but he can't really jump in and ult if he hasn't built any resistances and doesn't have Zhonya's.
So I guess it depends on what Godbro is looking for here. Rabadon's is going to help him obviously push the wave so much faster, amplify the damage even more so on his ultimate, on his Dark Binding. Zhonya's, if you're only looking at it for the defensive capabilities, is a very expensive item. Yes, it will help his abilities as well, because obviously the AP is good from any needlessly large rod item. I just think that Godbro is so focused on pushing the waves faster that his mind isn't on the defensive capabilities right now. Zhonya's is like 1,000 recipe cost now, 1,050 rather than 500. So that could play a little bit into it in his mind is, well, I'm looking for picks with the spooky ghosts, then we're just going to blow them up. So I think that's his thought process.
Definitely a different mindset as well, because it's more like, I'm going to be with my team and use my ultimate as a defensive tool as they jump on us, rather than me jumping into them and being kind of like the pseudo front line.
Exactly.
Pseudo is not the right word, but you know what I mean. The semi-front line.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking that through. I'm like, is that the right word? No.
No, it is not.
Looking
for not the right
options.
meaning in the Oxford Dictionary. In the top lane, though, the push is coming in from HUMA. Oh, I want to call them hummus now. You've ruined it for me. Hashtag
Either that
ruined.
or I've made everybody hungry.
Yeah.
And if you're hungry for hummus, you're a bad person.
But HUMA are hungry for this top tower. Oh dear. It's going to go down very quickly, but at the same time, Nick, once he has his ultimate, and when you have a lot of people there from the team of Illuminar, the Graves got great wave clear, same as the first game, same with Lucian, it's difficult to siege the tower because the minions just die too fast without Baron. But if they can get a pick on Tabasco, all of that will change. The ultimate comes in with a Frozen Tomb, he goes down, and they manage to get a return kill though onto Cass. But Bullet Time comes across onto the whole lineup. Santrin will have to jump away here, but not before Kubon flashes and takes him out. Creation drops low, has been bound up, and now Holy Phoenix is going wild, looking for another kill onto the tower. Make that the triple kill for Holy Phoenix.
Holy Phoenix coming up huge. As soon as he got the kill onto Nick, they know that HUMA could take this fight, and honestly, that's going to be this turret, maybe even the inhibitor turret, because of the death time is 20 seconds on all of the members of IHG. 5 seconds on Tabasco until he's up. I think that's enough to make them back away, especially with Kubon still around on full health. So, you know, HUMA want to play this smart. They don't want to give away that giant bounty that you can see on Holy Phoenix. 6-0 right now. And this fight is predominantly the reason for that. So flash in from Willib to take out Tabasco very quickly. Creaton's already backing away from this fight. I want to see where a lot of the damage comes from onto Nick here. The bullet time takes him down to about 2/3 of his health. Oh, it's the make it rain damage into the follow from the love tap. Good kind of priority there, knowing that Holy Phoenix can take out both Creaton and Nick. Normally you want to attack the same target again and again and again and fight until they die. Holy Phoenix knew he could just put one auto onto Nick in that fight. Just get that extra damage, swap it back onto Creaton, take out Creaton, change to Nick, maximizing that love tap passive.
Very nice mechanics coming in from Holy Phoenix. At the same time, we saw Cass die in exchange for for the opposing team, but it was more important because he was down in the bottom side, zoning the two carries, also with Trundle. So even though he died, there was a lot of time where HUMA were able to get their carries onto the important members. And Santrin now looking towards the Dragon. Mystic was there as well, trying to put down some vision just before this one spawns. It will be the first Dragon going over to Illuminar if they can secure it. Would be fairly nice for them.
But IHG are in a rough spot here. Mystic could be caught out. Santorin's looking for a pick. Holy Phoenix getting in position.
This is a really rough spot, and he will be going down as the Flay comes in. The bullet time as well onto Nick. He goes down, and so does Nick as well. The bullet time by itself will secure a double kill for Holy Phoenix. Kubon tries to get out of there, goes into the grey health. The thick skin comes in, but Holy Phoenix looks like it's going to be another triple for him. But no, Willib comes in and snipes the kill. 3 kills over to HUMA. They didn't want the Dragon anymore. They might as well just take bot lane.
No, they just want turrets, and they want to end the game as fast as they possibly can. They've still got a while before they can do that, because although death timers are longer, they're not long enough to push all the way through the base. But those are the 6 outer turrets down now for IHG, and once again, they're finding themselves without much of an answer to what HUMA are giving them. The answer so far has been Nick on this rise, but in the last 2 fights, he hasn't been able to safely output his damage, and Kubon has either been kind of devouring the wrong people or not even been in the position to devour. Willib, on his own, takes a lot of damage off Mystic.
Could be a potential pick, but at the same time, Willib by himself was taking both of them on as they were chasing him down, putting them into his line of sight. We're going to take a look at that pick, and more importantly, that bullet time.
So Nick wants to go forward here. The pillar has already been put down. He goes forward and just takes bullet time, pretty much to the face. Santorin in there with the assist as well. And now Kubon, what can he do in this situation as a Tahm Kench? Realistically, nothing. Because Tahm Kench just as a pick, on his own, means very little. Like, there's not a lot that he offers when he's by himself. It's only when you start bringing your teammates around that you can actually get the effectiveness of that kind of pick. And Kubon has kind of struggled in a couple of situations to get himself into these fights at the right time, and then ends up waddling in a little too late.
Yeah, he's a facilitating pick, like Lulu. Like, they can do great things by themselves if they get fed, and you can kind of split push, like you can see him doing now, but he's not going to get a lot done because he pushes very slowly. Godbro, though, looking for a pick. Potentially here.
Doesn't quite get it yet. Spooky Ghosts have come out.
Oh, the Q does not land. Holy Phoenix by himself, though. Culling will be enough to push him away for now, and Santrin will block some of that damage. Holy Phoenix should be able to lifesteal a lot of this up, though. Has the Vamp Step on top of his triple core items.
Yeah, I was going to say, holy something. With that damage, has an infinity edge over what Lucian is bringing to the table in this kind of AD carry fight. So, Holy Phoenix and Co are going to start this Baron off. Vision control is pretty much in their favor. There's one behind the pit, and then the blue trinket was used, so I think HUMA may think twice about this. Godbro might be out of position here as he went over the wall. Teleport in from behind from Whirlip is what's kicking this off.
He's still zoning them away, though. Everyone's grouping up from Illuminar up to the top side of this jungle. That did stop HUMA from going for the Baron because they were trying to get the full engage off.
They could turn on Kuban here, though.
Very possibly. Whirlip comes in, a flash away by Kuban, burning that summoner spell. Quite important if he wants to try and flash save an ally. Again, looking for a pick. Mystic might be the one to go down. The auto attacks coming in from Holy Things are ridiculous. The amount of damage coming out. The Q coming in from Nick, but they just have to put damage down as they're chased in. Santrin is going to remain the front line. The bullet time unloading onto this team, and Nick will be eaten up. Kuban trying to get into this base now. Tabasco dropping low as the Make It Rain comes in. No kills actually go down. Actually, Santrin was taken out, so advantage over to Illuminar there as HUMA maybe went a little too deep.
Yeah, a bit too deep there, and HUMA, they still are fairly healthy when you look at it. Not healthy enough to do anything rash, like start Baron. They got a lot of the health bar down from IHG. Couldn't really capitalize on anything from that fight. IHG, Whirlip was looking to go in. Now in comes the response with Tom Kench. Whirlip's E is still not available, comes up right now, looking to get out of there, but there's a stun into the Zhonyas.
And he's probably dead now.
Yeah.
When you have 5 people around you coming out of Zhonyas, that's not where you want to be. And another pick over to Illuminar.
Yeah, and it goes to Nick again. Everything in this game is all about keeping Nick relevant, not allowing them to fall too far behind. They are 9,000 gold down and still putting a fight out in this game. Whirlip, no teleport, so can't rejoin his team when he respawns, but it's 35 seconds on him anyway.
Hook onto Kuban, that takes a lot of his health away, and he has to go to the thick skin, so he's going to be losing all that health. He can regen none of it. And now he'll head back to base with his allies. He doesn't have anything to really regen, so he wants to go back to base really to gear up for a next potential fight. There's a small window here if HUMA wanted to try and rush the Baron, but it's more about establishing the vision control. You can see how much is being choked away, and Mystic and Tabasco could potentially be caught out here, but Pillar over the wall will stop them from doing that.
I think an attempt at Baron here is a little too risky, just from Whirlip not being available. With him only just respawning, he now has to run up. So it's all just about clearing the wards out, take away as many pinks, stop the blue trinkets from the ward remaining there, and then trying to bait IHG down the ramp. 2 blue trinkets are available right now. One is on cooldown for IHG, so they know. Oh, good attempt there. I was going to say a good flash into a hook, but I preemptively saw the hook coming and it wasn't there, so not a good flash.
Yes.
Just used for nothing.
Yeah, unfortunate, but still, now the Baron's been started off. There has been blue trinkets out, so IHG know they're on it, but maybe HUMA can turn here as Mystic, once again, trying to act as the front line, but isn't all that tanky. And HUMA head back into the Baron pit. In the bot lane, Kuban is slowly pushing. Whirlip is with the team, doesn't have his teleport, so this is actually winning out for Illuminar very slightly. Okay, it's an outer turret, and Kuban probably won't be able to push into the inner one, so it's not a big loss.
First of the game.
Yes, that's also true. Got it.
Got it. Squad goals.
That took so painfully long, but it's the first one of the game. 6 towers went over to HUMA. That being said, HUMA haven't taken the tower for such a long time because they've taken all of the outer ones and all of the inner ones. The only ones left are the inhibitor turrets.
They've taken the easy ones to get. HUMA, they're constantly trying to force IHG to come towards this Baron pit just to try and bait them into a fight. We always talk about how Baron is kind of an option that a lot of teams flounder on, but now they've forced IHG's hand. Baron is already down.
And Illuminar are too slow to come in with a bullet time coming out. The auto attack comes in, and that will be enough to take out Mystic on the retreat. Kuban has to try and get away here, and the rest of the team, there's no time to save you now. Tabasco jumps over the wall, but into enemy territory, trying to get the kill onto EUCS as Tabasco leaves the fight. He will be able to head back, wants to clear out that ward as well. Godbro has been sighted out, but he will be able to interrupt the recall from Tabasco. And that's all they really need right now because so many people are dead on the team. They can push down the middle lane.
He's just playing peekaboo right now. It's like,
reminds me of Airwax with the Prey Seekers.
Yeah. Just holding him from getting back with his team with the Baron buff as well. Now HUMA will be able to back themselves away from here. Comfortably recall. Look to set themselves up to end the game because 10-0-1 on this misfortune. And let's take another look exactly at how much damage comes out here because this is the beginning of the fight. Mystic's already gone. The first shot of bullet time actually was then cancelled by the look of it by Holy Phoenix. He was like, they've spread out, I'll just do more damage with auto attacks. So starts running around just trying to pop people. Santorum with a knockup flash forward from Holy Phoenix. There's not a whole lot to break down when a Holy Phoenix is like 10-0. Everything's like, well, there's some damage. There's some more damage coming out of this.
And they're all dead. And Kuban was also separated from his squishies as well. Even though he still had a decent amount of health remaining, he just wasn't in range to be able to devour them.
And that's been a problem multiple times in this game. Whether it was that he couldn't or just wasn't in the right spot, it's been too difficult for Kuban to get himself into these fights in meaningful ways. And we've seen so much Tahm Kench play over the last few months that, I mean, that's the way. I guess the way to beat Tahm Kench is stop him from ever being in position.
And this game is not going to be a perfect one for HUMA. In the first game, they went 11-0. This time,
they lost 2 towers.
6.
Though, so.
They did, yes. So not the perfect game. In terms of kills, at least. This game, they lost 1 tower. And the game is not over yet, but it looks like it's about to be. As Santrum's pushing down the mid lane, the rest of the team pushing in the bottom lane, going to completely ignore top lane, which is pushing away from them. But even in these 2 lanes, it should be enough for HUMA to close in.
Here come the spooky ghosts. Call Luigi, we need the poltergust.
Need to call in some air support. They need something right now. Kuban is trying to get the flank off, see if he can get anything done. Start stacking up.
Hook onto
if
Mystic
one binding
again.
lands, or even if a flay lands, Mystic will die, or rather Cass will die. That will be the first kill going over to Illuminar. Kuban is low, however, but this is a 4 versus 5. But Holy Phoenix is carrying the weight of a support regardless. The smoke screen comes down, and Tabasco putting some more damage onto the front line. They pick up the inhibitor, and they pick up the inhibitor tower, maybe stalling the push for now.
Well, I think they just go top here because they have a wave available. Tahm Kench is looking to engage. He could find Holy Phoenix here.
But he is by himself for a good couple seconds before Tabasco comes in, and that is the tank down.
Whoa.
2 auto attacks, takes out the AD carries, and likewise for the double kill, the triple kill before he finally falls. But Mystic, what's he gonna do against this triple man stack in from HUMA? Not very much, and they will be securing this win. The first Nexus turret comes out, and another dominating victory coming in from HUMA, and Illuminar just could not do enough in this game to close it out or even draw even in this game. HUMA with a 2nd win of the day in this best of 5.
A 2nd win and 2-0 right now. 1 game away from a spot in Challenger Series. It was all but done as the Nexus falls, but it was a little bit less easy for HUMA. IHG putting up a bit more of a fight there with Nick in that mid lane, trying to hold on with Ryze, but the lead that Holy Phoenix got in the bottom lane was just far too much to handle. The first few team fights always getting 2-3 kills. And man, becoming like 10-0, 11-0. I think at the end of it, if he was 10-0 before it then gets a triple, ends that game like 13-1.
Yeah, and remember what we said before this game started, don't give Holy Phoenix misfortune, because that happens, and it's not very fun for anyone apart from Holy Phoenix, who just gets all the kills. But yeah, it was definitely a harder game to win, and you can see the same mindset in mind for Illuminar, because they went for another scaling mid lane. Caston wasn't able to do that in the first game. Ryze had some wave clear and was able to start stacking up, but it simply wasn't enough. The damage, you saw 1 bullet time, took him 100-0. Yeah. And when you get to that point, what are you going to do as a mid laner?
I mean, as a Ryze at that point, I don't really know. The only real option would be to take a longer range mid laner, somebody like an Anivia that is available. We're on 524, that's why I'm kind of talking about Anivia, who was strong in this patch. Maybe you take that kind of pick that is scaling, but can hold for so long. You just hold, wait, siege, or counter siege with the ultimate, and just kind of take away their minions. Just never have the minions pushing in towards you, and Ryze can't quite do that so well.
And for the most part, that game was pretty much controlled, as was the first game. Yes, there was a couple more kills going over, and it may be a little sloppy in team fights, but in terms of the map play, they lost 1 tower, and that was because they were taking everything on the top side of the map. Yeah. So HUMA didn't really struggle in that game either, and now they're only 1 game away from going into the EUCS spring split, and Illuminar have to win 3 games in a row now, when in those first 2 games didn't show a whole lot that would be able to defeat HUMA. It's going to be an uphill struggle for sure.
It will be. The reverse sweep is needed here. I mean, historic reverse sweeps that have looked similar to this. I mean, you look at the Cloud9 story. The problem with that is I would say Cloud9 showed a little bit more in the first 2 games, even though they kind of had the crazy picks.
Yes.
I think it's a big ask for IHG to reverse sweep. It's not impossible, but HUMA have looked very, very convincing in these first 2 games.
Yeah, in micro and macro. But with the score set at 2-0 in favor of HUMA, Illuminar Honor Gaming are at risk of having the lights switched off. So it is time to plug in the power or they will not light up the EUCS in spring.